We got to head out to the Plains, talk some Auburn recruiting as Oklahoma wins 27-21 after leading 21-10 midway through the fourth quarter. It all fell apart. Oklahoma scores a touchdown. They cut the lead 21-16 with around 8 minutes left. And then the kickoff, Peyton Thorne, you know the rest. Touchdown, 4 minutes to go, 24-21. Oklahoma wins it. 27-21. Deuce Knight, the big story here is Deuce Knight took his official visit to Auburn. You said it best in the week on the Wiltfong whip around that Deuce Knight has season tickets. I mean, he's been to 4 or 5 home games already. They might as well punch him a dorm room key. Deuce Knight, though, this visit is a little different. He's not going to go home tonight. An official visit, they stay the night. He's going to wake up. He'll have breakfast with the staff. He'll meet, the family will be there. So this is a big visit for Deuce Knight, but they lose. I mean, does that kind of take away from some of the excitement, some of the experience?
Well, it absolutely does, in the sense that, the players aren't maybe as much fun to hang out with following another tough loss.
Yeah, Saturday night isn't as fun after a loss.
How he views Auburn, he's seeing these interceptions that they keep throwing week in and week out. He's got a front row seat for it. And so how does he look at it? He could look at it in multiple ways. I think if you're Auburn, you're hoping he's looking at it from the lens of, I could come in and make an impact right away. Now, yeah. I think no matter what, Auburn's got to go to the portal and get a 1-year guy.
Yeah.
And
if you're Notre Dame, I think the defense you play is, hey, look, there's no development. You're there on the sidelines. You're watching these quarterbacks throw pick after pick after pick, week after week after week. Where's the development from the QB guru? So, yeah, I think based on your reporting, if Deuce Knight makes it back to Notre Dame, I mean, I can't rule him out.
Hugh Freeze has a track record of great offense. So they're not playing offensively the way that he would like to play this year, but you can't just throw away his history and say that he's not a good offensive mind and his quarterbacks don't light it up schematically. I mean, Jim Harbaugh had a terrible year at Michigan. Several years later, won the national championship. Brian Kelly had a 4-win season at Notre Dame and then ripped off like 5 wins in a row and 2 college playoff appearances. My point is that Hugh Freeze is a good football coach that typically has good offenses. How does he see it? Is he going to visit Notre Dame for the Stanford game in a couple weeks?
Yeah,
if he does that, then it's not a foregone conclusion he's going to Auburn anymore, right? So there was a time coming into the season when it looked like he was a heavy lean to flip. Auburn has since started having more dialogue with other quarterbacks. It's obvious that Deuce Knight is their number one target at the position, but even they know that like anything can happen in recruiting. So even though there's been indication over the last month or month plus that Auburn's in a great position to ultimately land this young man's signature and his commitment, it hasn't happened yet. And so if he goes and visits Notre Dame for the Stanford game, anything can happen. And Ole Miss, again, they're still lurking, trying to recruit him. So we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. I asked you this a couple weeks ago, and I'll ask you again. How much does winning matter with Auburn recruiting? Are they, at a point where they have to win games, or they risk this class falling apart to some degree?
Well, I think they've done a good job from a relationship standpoint of building the correct bonds with these kids to keep most of them in the fold. But the season's got a long way to go, man, and it could get worse, right? It could get better. They've been in all these ball games they've lost, but it could get worse. The schedule is not getting any easier for them. Today was a very winnable game against a true freshman quarterback at home, and they about had it all sewed up until you throw a pick six. And I don't even want to look at Peyton Thorne's interception column on the statistics because that's where it begins. The defense has played pretty well. Hugh Freeze is going to get a lot of time at Auburn. You don't have to worry about a coaching change. Again, his track record says that he's going to figure it out as a coach. And then Auburn historically has played for championships under a couple different head football coaches. So they're just in a rut right now. But the good thing is their recruiting class is still strong and it's holding together, and a lot of blue chippers are showing interest, and they're getting guys on campus every weekend.
All right. Speaking of one blue chipper that's showing interest, running back Usman Kroma, number 5 running back in the country, was expected to make his decision today, but he didn't. He's going to delay it a week. What do you make of that? And I mean, I definitely thought heading into the weekend it was going to be Auburn if Usman Kroma made his decision. I felt, Auburn, Georgia, but I was leaning Auburn. What does the delay mean to you in his decision?
Yeah, coming into the weekend, I thought it was going to be Auburn also. So can't be good news for the Tigers. It might be status quo
Right.
news,
Right.
But
Right.
Georgia, Florida State got pummeled at SMU today, your Knowles. But they're in there. And then Georgia, I always thought if they hit the gas and turned up the heat, they could land Usman Kroma. I talked to a source around Athens this week about Kroma, and I think they thought that they had as good a chance as anyone to land him. Tennessee still recruiting Usman Kroma, trying to recruit a couple different backs to add to their talented recruiting class. But Kroma's kind of been a fluid recruitment. He's, if he did a couple different things, I wouldn't be surprised, but I felt good about Auburn coming into the week.
Do you think he will make a decision in the next 6 or 7 days? Do you think he will?
Yeah, he has a new decision date. So
I know, but
could he postpone again? I mean, yeah, I guess, but why put out a second date so quickly?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, we'll see what happens, but Oklahoma wins it 27-21. It was a really weird game for Auburn. They just at times you thought they were going to get that offense going and it kept stalling. They never really sustained anything. When looking at the quarterback position, I mean, it's all about how you sell it. And do you think that, hey, I mean, this is what they're paid the big bucks to do. You got to recruit through adversity. Do you think that this weekend they're pushing to get Deuce Knight to finally just go over the edge and flip his commitment?
Yeah, but I also think it's because from the lens of, look, we have to land a talented high school quarterback. So if you've been here 5 times since the end of July. So
yeah,
what are we waiting on here? And it doesn't mean that it can't be, well, look, I want to go back to Notre Dame. All right. Well, that doesn't mean we're stopping recruiting you, but we're going to have to ramp it up with some other people just in case you don't come. Right. Like it's big boy recruiting. You don't just quit, even so. But I do think that they would like to have some clarity on, are you going to shut it down and flip to us? And if you're going to go visit Stanford, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get another quarterback on campus.
Yeah, they've got to. They got a problem right now, and it's at the quarterback position. Deuce Knight.
It's the problem. And when they interviewed Brent Venables after the game, I didn't know if he was, when they asked him what they did to come back and win that game, I didn't know if he was just going to say, well, Peyton Thorne threw the ball to us. He didn't say that, of course, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. That was some of that Sooner magic at the end of that one. And they get a big road SEC win. Now, Auburn fans, talk to Steve and I. Let us know, comment section below. How do you guys feel right now? I mean, the recruiting class doesn't have to take the same trajectory as the season. Me and Steve, we've covered this a long time. We've seen some pretty bad seasons coupled with a really great recruiting class. So, Auburn fans, talk to us. The sky is not falling, at least not yet. Let us know. Comment section below. How are we feeling after this latest loss? And what do you think about flipping Deuce Knight? Let us know. Comment section below.